know, today, I just woke up and I said, instead of waiting on a good day, waiting around through ups and downs, waiting on something to happen, I just said,
Hi, and we are live. Good morning, everybody. This is Moeller&Barber, your digital mayor with PinellasLive.com, sponsored by the Moeller&Barber real estate team and Coastal Commercial, and we're basically a 7-minute daily web show where we like to celebrate the exceptional life that it is Pinellas. But today I can tell you we're going to blow right through the 7 minutes. So get ready to hang on. This is going to be a great ride today because we are at the iconic and legendary Duncan McClellan Gallery, and we are with the infamous Duncan McClellan today. But I have my co-host with me here today. So Debbie Reeser's with us.
Yes, and I'm excited to be here today.
And so I'm going to turn it over to Debbie and let her take over from here. So get ready for this ride today. It's going to be awesome.
This is going to be great. If you've never been here, this is your opportunity to see what a wonderful place it is, and I hope it's going to inspire you to come to one of the openings. But Duncan was gracious enough to agree to do this.
Thanks for coming.
I'm really happy because he's a good friend. His lovely wife. We're very good friends, and so we're just gonna.
And you volunteer here, so we
like that.
And I
volunteer. Yes, I push drinks here.
So there's already a plug to volunteer, guys.
Exactly. And it's a lot of fun. So today we're going to learn a little bit about Duncan first, and then we'll talk about the gallery and some of the social outreach that he does. So Duncan, tell a little bit about how you got started in glass blowing.
Well, I first saw glass when I was about 5 years old, and I didn't have the opportunity to blow glass till I was about 30. Mainly because there were only 2 furnaces in the state of Florida at the time.
Wow.
It was a very small amount of availability.
And you grew up in Orlando, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And came to Tampa to go to restaurant school. It was after I opened up the stores in the Tampa airport, I found a place in New York because I had to go up there for buying, and I found a place to blow glass. And that's where I had some really great friends and teachers, Fred Call and John Brecky, which I'm very proud to say that we represent John Brecky here. I decided to move over to Tampa after working out of a studio here in St. Petersburg for about 20 years because of the environment. St. Pete is very special. Bob Devin Jones uses the term that St. Pete has magic dirt, and it does.
Yeah.
It's the way it's built, the geography of the area, as well as the people that gravitate to St. Petersburg. So I thought it would be a good environment for the arts, and it has exploded. Wow. Not only just for art's sake, but how it's affected all the other businesses. So after searching for a couple of years, I knew the type of place that I wanted, in the sense that I knew I wanted the viewer, when they're walking up the steps, to see this as like an inner jewel box, seeing the inside of a jewel
That's
box.
the best description. That's it.
It
That's
is.
perfect.
It is. When you walk up, it's quite impressive.
And we are going to take a tour here in just a little bit, guys, so get ready for that.
But tell about what this place looked at before you
Oh,
found it.
it was
This
scary.
was a warehouse in a very bad section of town that, it was just raw. It was a tomato packing plant, right?
Exactly. Prior to that, it was a fish packing plant, but a really wonderful lady that we became friends after. It took me like 9 months to convince her to sell it to me, and it wasn't being utilized. But there was not a blade of grass or a tree on the property. Eric Claycomb came over from Tampa with me. That was so it was just Eric and I initially. And it took about a year and a half to rehab the building. It was pretty rough.
And I want everybody to remember that, because when we do a tour, you have to remember that it was really not a nice place. And when you see how lush it is now and how beautiful, you'll be impressed.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard work on my team's efforts in building this kind of environment. So wanting to do something in St. Petersburg, I knew initially that I had to get the gallery going, because if you don't have the engine, it doesn't matter. And we've gone from just representing myself to representing 50 internationally known glass artists. And we did a few shows the first couple of years, gaining momentum. Debbie might remember some of the parties going till like 3 in the morning. Thank God we don't do that anymore. But I knew that we not only needed the gallery space, but we needed a platform for artists. And that was the ultimate goal. So I got the building next door, and that took another 1.5 years to rehab, and turned it into a world-class glass-blowing facility. So that any of the artists that come through, that we bring through once a month from all over the world, had a stage, so that the education of the people viewing the work knew how that was made. And I think that's very important, to have that connection with not only the, it's one thing to look at a piece on the pedestal, but how does David Patchen get all those minute pieces into that work? And then they can see it happen here.
Sure.
And then after doing that for about a year, recognized that education was paramount, that it had to start early, and it had to be across generations. So we started DMG School Project. That's our educational charity. And that has been evolving. As of yesterday, the last 2 days, we have a mobile hot glass unit. We've had the mobile etching unit, where we go into schools, we go into corporations, and we can teach glass. We now have the capability of actually blowing glass, not only at those schools, but in public demonstrations like Craft Art this weekend, where we can reach 40,000 people in a couple of days.
This is amazing, which is awesome.
Well, and going back to yesterday, because we were talking about that earlier, I mean, it's such a great outreach, because it not only shows the students this fantastic artwork, it's an education in the chemistry that goes on with glass, and you were talking about algebra, because to determine the value of the piece, you have to use math. So it's a wonderful, well-rounded education for the kids.
Well, that's what we're trying to hone in on the kids. For an example, when I was growing up, I had a difficulty with math until my parents put it into dollars and cents. Then I got
it. Now we're talking.
So it's making it relevant what they're learning, whether it's geometry or history or algebra. Those are all things that an artist needs to have, or you're not going to be able to work as an artist. We use algebra and math all the time, calculating the rate of the annealing process, of calculations on weights in the materials that we're using. So it's what I like is that captures their attention. The school we went to yesterday, the kids are amazing, because we were warned that they might misbehave, and they were quite attentive. They were enthralled and mesmerized, and that's what hot glass does, and that's what captured me when I was 5 years old, was that molten and how glass and how they manipulated it. it's the glass is probably the most beautiful when it's first coming out of the furnace.
It's glowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I love people to come here because until you see them in the hot shop making a piece, you truly don't have an appreciation of what goes into it and the artistry, and it's very physical too, because these pieces coming out are heavy, and there are teams that work together, and so it's all about teamwork, and they have like this little dance they do.
Exactly, and that's
it's
something
great.
else that it teaches. That's why I think it's important. We do a lot of team building events because it takes cooperation, it takes timing, and those are all things that on any age level are incredibly important for functioning. Most of the time, we are an open gallery, but we also have these incredible events for corporations. We do weddings here, and that actually...
You said you have 40 events between now and April coming
Exactly.
up.
Which is going to stretch us a little thin, but I think we'll survive.
Good.
But it's such a great event space. I mean, if you want to do an event, especially when we walk around and you see the outdoor area, it's fantastic.
Well, all the proceeds go directly to DMG School Project, so it covers about 50% of our needs, because glass blowing is very expensive, and when you're doing it for the public and we don't charge, we need some help in getting that to happen, in bringing in the artists, because another thing that we do in the gallery that makes us unique is that we do a new show a month. Most commercial galleries might do 3 or 4 a year.
I'm doing 12.
We're doing 12, and we bring the artists in, and so they're here all weekend, not only doing the demonstrations in second Saturday, but also on second Sunday we have a demonstration here and a free lecture out at the Fine Arts Museum.
That's awesome.
Which I highly recommend anybody go to. It's the best way to know about the artists, to learn about their craft. It's wonderful. It's a nice intimate setting. It's quieter than the Saturdays.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's very, I love it.
Our second Saturdays are well attended.
They're very well attended.
But second Sunday is much more intimate. We might have 40 or 50 people viewing, but it gives an opportunity not only to talk to the artists more in depth, but to get insights that you wouldn't get just by coming through the gallery.
And sometimes you have 2 artists, and then they collaborate together on a piece on that Sunday, which is kind of nice too.
It's fun because it's throwing. I can picture it. Glass is like a ballet anyway, with molten material. But when you put 2 new artists together, they've never worked together often, and they decide what they're going to do together. There's some great things that come out of it.
That's exciting. Well, we're about, 13 minutes into our time today. Which is great because I knew this was going to happen.
We could talk more.
No, this is perfect. But, the point of this time today was really to introduce you to Duncan and then the gallery. So we're definitely going to take a tour today. But we're going to put all of his information and links and everything down in the comments, so make sure you check it out. But one of the things that we always like to do as a part of our core of our show and who we are, Duncan, is the people that we sit down and we talk with, everyone's got this great story, and they've learned lessons, or they have this wisdom that they may want to impart or share. They're maybe going through something right in their life, and they like to share some positivity with who may be watching this today or 20 years from now. So what is in your heart today? If you could, in reference to whatever, if someone's even thinking about being an artist or wanting to make that jump or to make that risk, what would be your advice to them today?
To study. To study what has been done in history, to study what the environment around you, and to be able to put into since I'm a visual artist, to put it into visual terms, that split second of time that you're trying to capture. And go out and attend all the art you can.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you heard that here. So the first place you're going to attend is the gallery.
Exactly.
So come here and check it out. But I got to tell you, I've got just a few minutes, and I spent some time with Duncan today, and he's the real deal. He's super genuine and authentic, and I bet if you wanted to come and just pick his brain, he would be available to you. So
There's not much brain to pick, but
well, listen, that is our time today to sit and to do a sit down. But we're definitely going to take a tour, and so hang on for the tour. We're going to take a walk around. But again, Duncan, thank you.
Thank you very much. This was great.
So.
It's a lot of fun.
All
But
right.
I can't wait for us to walk around because it's
All
so
right.
wonderful.
It is awesome. All right, guys. Well, listen, have a great day if you need to jump off. But if not, hang around. We're going to take a walk around. And we always like to end our show by telling you we love you. Go out and live the exceptional life that it is. Pinellas, sponsored by the Moeller&Barber Real Estate Team and Coastal Commercial. So, all right, we're going to walk around.
Terrific.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of Pinellas Live presented by the Moeller&Barber Real Estate Team. If you'd like to get notifications when our newest videos show up, hit our subscribe button over here. Also, we're going to throw up a few other videos that you may like, and they're going to show up over here, so take a look at those. But most of all, hit us up in the comments. Love to know what you think. Take care, everybody.